Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, five-time MP from Behrampur in West Bengal, known as a tough street fighter, will be the leader of the Congress party in Parliament. The decision was taken at a meeting of the Congress Working Committee, and some media houses have reported that Rahul Gandhi's insistence of not taking up the position paved the way for Chowdhury. Now, Congress veteran Mallikarjun Kharge was the leader of the party in Parliament before this, but lost the election this time round. So why Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, who's been known as the Congress party's strongest leader in West Bengal so far and is a bitter critic of Mamata Banerjee? What does it say about the strategy the party will adopt, and does the choice prove to be a setback to opposition unity? To speak more on this, I'm joined now by Rashid Kidwai, a political commentator, Manisha Priyam, political analyst, and Sunanda K. Dattare, former editor of The Statesman. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for speaking with us today. Mr. Kidwai, what do you make of the choice of Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury as leader of the party in Parliament?
Tamanna, it's a very interesting choice. The Prince of Murshidabad has been selected. One over the, I would say, over the dark horse. One was expecting if Mr. Rahul Gandhi was not interested, it would have been Shashi Tharoor, it could have been Manish Tiwari, it could have been Mr. K. Suresh. All of them have a lot of experience and I would say more heavyweight than Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury. But the Congress president, not so much Congress president, but Sonia Gandhi has posed faith and trust in Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury. What it brings on table is not so much the anti-BJP flavor, but more anti-Mamta flavor inside Parliament when there is 22 Trinamool MPs are there, and the Congress is expected to have some kind of informal floor coordination with non-NDA political parties. I think that's not going to be a reality. Mr. Adhir Chowdhury may have lot of lung power, a kind of ability to disrupt house, all those things. He's very good at it, but in terms of reaching out to either DMK or Trinamool, I think it is going to be a little difficult. The Congress strategy is slightly baffling overall, in the sense they could have allowed a kind of contest in the Congress Parliamentary Party that would have helped, and a real winner out of that 52 MPs would have come. The Congress would have looked far more democratic, but as I said, it's in wisdom, it has chosen Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury.
Mr. Ray, what do you make of the choice? And a couple of interesting points there that Rashid Kidwai made. What is Mr. Chowdhury known for? He is known for lung power, as he puts it. So are we going to see a lot of use of that lung power in Parliament, where the Congress will try to make up with noise its lack of numbers? And he doesn't like Mamata Banerjee, that's clear. So what happens to opposition unity?
Well, I must confess, I was also surprised by the choice. Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury has been a continuous member of the Lok Sabha from 1999. He was a Minister of State in the UPA government under Manmohan Singh. But he is essentially a Bengal political figure. He is not an all-India national figure. He is very well known here. He has a rumbustious personality. And I'm not certain whether this choice will unite the Congress factions in Western India and Southern India behind the party in the Lok Sabha. That's one sort of question mark. Another is whether Mr. Chowdhury has a grip on national issues. He is a boisterous Bengal opposition figure, but we now need a double process in the Congress party at the national level, both a healing of rifts within the Congress and an examination of the factors that led to the Congress's defeat in 2 general elections, and at the same time an effective opposition to almost a steamroller majority of the BJP in the Lok Sabha. Whether Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury is best equipped to fulfill these 2 dual roles, I'm not certain.
Let me bring Manisha Priyam here on what it also tells us, and as we start the actual business in Parliament, we now we know who our speaker is, Mr. Om Birla. We now know who, not the leader of opposition, but the leader of Congress party is. What are we set to see? Because as our earlier two panelists have said, Mr. Chowdhury is known to be a street fighter. Are we going to see a lot of scenes in Parliament where there is disturbance, where work doesn't happen, there is a lot of sloganeering and shouting, and is that the USP that Mr. Chowdhury will bring to the table?
So Mr. Chowdhury is certainly someone who's trusted by the first family of the Congress party. Remember, on the same day, as you said, Om Birla has been chosen as a speaker of the Lok Sabha. The BJP's calibration behind this move have been to get in somebody new, somebody who's not embedded in the culture of Delhi, in the old Congress style politics that's dominated institutions, because given the preeminence of the Congress party in leading the center. But Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, on the other hand, chosen by the Congress party, is certainly trusted by the first family, is certainly been a member of the cabinet in New Delhi, as the earlier speaker just said. So embedded in the cultural mores, the ethos of the Congress party. But at this point of time, I would say the Parliament is going to be a very noisy place. One of the things that the BJP is likely to do and will continue to do will be its attacks against the incumbent government in West Bengal of Mamata Banerjee. So apart from the national issues that will be on the floor of the Parliament, the state of West Bengal is going to come up very often. And remember, if Mamata Banerjee is somebody who the BJP is able to launch an attack on, the Congress can be seen there. Now the trouble is that will the Congress and the BJP then be seen on the same side attacking Mamata Banerjee? Will Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury do the job of floor coordination along with the TMC nominees who are there? So it's going to be a tricky kind of situation. So yes, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury will be leading the charge. He will be fiery, no doubt. He will be speaking out a lot. But when the issue of state will come, I fail to understand whether he will stand along with the BJP in attacking the TMC, or will there be a floor coordination between the TMC and Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury. Now, if indeed the floor coordination between TMC and Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury were to be held, then are we likely to see that there is something, a new equation that emerges in West Bengal itself? Now, that situation is not likely to be there, given the fact that the equations between the Congress and the TMC are not something that have gone off very well on the ground. But these are times when the Congress is being tested simply in terms of the principles that the Congress is stronger in the states and needs to bring out its old and stronger leadership from the states. Simply from that point of view, I would say this is a good and credible choice. But given the fact that it's not so strong in West Bengal, much stronger in many other states, the states of Chhattisgarh, the states of Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, the choice as to why it is Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury from West Bengal, even conceding the principle that the Congress party needs to bring out its people who are strong in the states. On that count, on that point, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury certainly scores quite a bit. He is an experienced, seasoned minister of the Manmohan Singh cabinet. But I think on the point that should it have been a choice from the states where the Congress has done well in the recent assembly elections and still holds parliamentary ground, or should it have been an old congressman? Clearly they've gone with the second one, and it is definitely the strength or the relationship that he has with the first family of the Congress that may have counted in his favor.
But let me take that question to Rashid Kidwai. Rashid Kidwai, at a time when the opposition parties need to, come together with a game plan, the Congress has selected a person who is most well known in West Bengal. You question whether he has the same grip on national issues like, say, a Mallikarjun Kharge had, or that kind of, bonhomie across the aisle. And the second part is that, he's a real thorn in the side of Mamata Banerjee. Does the Congress feel at this point they do not need Mamata Banerjee? I'm sure they have no real hope of performing very well in the assembly elections in West Bengal in 2 years. So what's the game plan really?
I think, Tamanna, we are reading too much into it. It's a very simple way. The Congress has gone for a leader who was a kind of, least, possible challenger to Gandhi's or to say the existing establishment that exists in the Congress party. Mr. Shashi Tharoor, has a stature. He could have been a leader that would have generated a lot more interest, or for that matter, Mr. Manish Tiwari also. But Congress has not chosen without giving any kind of plausible explanation. When we are talking about experience, then Mr. Manish Tiwari was in 1980s, was a youth Congress president. He has a lot of experience, has been a senior minister also, and Mr. Shashi Tharoor of course has a way with words and a lot of has the ability to influence. I think the idea was to deny these two individuals this kind of status and post. I know a little bit about Congress internal dynamics. Therefore, I have no hesitation in saying that the only factor that has helped Mr. Adhir Chowdhury bag this post is his ability, his so to say non-ability, his non-performance, and that has been taken. And as I said, it's a telling commentary. It's a very sorry state of affairs of the Congress party, but that's how the decision making process is.
Mr. Ray, I was asking the question about what the choice of Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury is going to do to any kind of opposition unity and what it will mean for the relationship between TMC and the Congress. Mamata Banerjee will not be happy with this.
No, well, as I said at the outset, Congress faces two challenges. One is to put its own house in order, and second, I would say three challenges now. Second is to present a credible opposition to the BJP, and the third is to return to its original roots as a nation-building, reforming organization. In none of these can I see Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury as the ideal candidate. He has his good points, certainly. He's a very effective, loud leader. And he started off on the right foot when the Prime Minister asked for the cooperation of the opposition parties. He promptly responded with a positive statement, and that was good. But how the rest of the Congress party in the other parts of India, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, in Jharkhand, in Chhattisgarh, Bihar, UP, how they will react to this, I don't know. Secondly, the Congress hasn't done all that well in the Lok Sabha elections in West Bengal. So Mr. Chowdhury, or any Congress leader for that matter, doesn't go to Delhi as a victorious person. There may be, as the last speaker said, internecine calculations here, to prop up someone who will not challenge the Gandhi-Nehru dynasty's supremacy. If so, I think in the long run, it's very short-sighted and it's very damaging for the interest not only of the Congress party, but what matters much more for the country's interests. If the leadership is to be guarded like this for a particular family, then that party has no future and doesn't deserve to have a future either. I hope that is not the only reason. I hope that this is a stopgap arrangement, and that sooner or later the Congress will get its house into order, reorganize the party, and think in terms of leaders of the new generation. Jyotiranath Scindia, for instance, Sachin Pilot, for instance. These are the men of the future who have roots in the soil of India, who know what needs to be done, who are congressmen thoroughly through and through. And they are the ones who can build up an all-India network of the Congress and revitalize the party with something like a constructive program, a mass contact program, with going out into the villages. I believe Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has started something like that in Uttar Pradesh to revive the Congress in all the districts
Mr.
where
Ray,
it failed.
Absolutely.
And that's what needs to be done on a national scale.
But none of the people you mentioned are in the Lok Sabha. And in the Lok Sabha, let's see what the Congress party is going to do. which is my point and why we were interested in talking about Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury. What kind of a parliament are we going to see over the next 5 years and in the first session? And here let me bring Manisha Priyam about the other big talk point of sorts in Parliament today. While the oath-taking ceremony has been taking place over yesterday and today, when opposition MPs were taking oath, BJP MPs were heard raising chants of Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram. Opposition MPs, some of them from TMC, some from SP, Asaduddin Owaisi, say that they were feeling heckled. Are we going to see a very bitter sort of polarized debate in the Lok Sabha, and how does the choice of an Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, known for his lung power, I like that quote from Rashid Kidwai, going to fit into all of that? Are we set for some really bitter scenes?
So this is just lung power, wordy duels. The fact is that the country is faced squarely with certain very important challenges. Those important challenges are in the form of economic growth having slowed down. Those challenges are in the form of employment opportunities having shrunk. Those challenges are in the form of a very large population of the young. And those challenges are also in the form that there has been a huge political churning. Most established parties, political parties of India that have ruled either the center or in the Indian states, there has been a new incumbent in the form of the Bharatiya Janata Party that has now come in to challenge them. So not just challenge them, it's in power now. So a new party establishing itself in power, quite a few challenges at the national level and in the states, the desire and the promise on the part of the BJP to usher in a new form of governance squarely focused on Vikas or development. In that, if you start on the note of lung power, clearly something is not very good somewhere. So the first job of Mr. Om Birla, therefore, would be to bring back to the Parliament its glory. Remember, it's not any other institution that can tell the Parliament. It's the Parliament that legislates for its own self, sets up its own standards, decides what is unparliamentary, decides and rebukes its members for conduct. Now clearly, Shri Om Birla's task would therefore be cut out even before he's taken his own oath in terms of how he would set the standards and the precedent for this new Parliament and for putting up legislative standards sui generis, so to say, on a clean slate, so to say. So I think the task ahead, the days ahead, will clearly be seen in terms of what standards he sets out for this Parliament and for its parliamentarians.
Mr. Kidwai, come in on the whole debate today about chants of Jai Shri Ram and Vande Mataram in Parliament. Various, opposition MPs responding in different ways to this. Some coming up with their own quotes, and what kind of a pitch it sets for what we're going to see, not just in this budget session, but even in the sessions up ahead.
Tamanna, I'm afraid I am going to present a very scary picture. I think there are going to be many, first and many, lows that we are going to see in this 17th Lok Sabha, because there is a tremendous amount of trust deficit between the ruling party and the opposition. The opposition is extremely bitter. It does not know what has hit them in this during the course of electioneering, the kind of issues that were raised, the kind of language that was used. I think it is all going to reflect very badly inside 17th Lok Sabha. As I said, I'm saying this with a great sense of pain and reluctance, but I think it is politics that dominates everything else in our country. So what we are going to see, that opposition will appear and sound as extremely unreasonable. At times it may be, at times it may be pushed into it. What we saw yesterday and today is just a glimpse of it. They will be cornered in such a way that they will be made to look very bad loser, and you have house rules and procedures. I don't want to just go on speculating about evictions and expulsions and all that, but we are going to see scenes that we have not seen past in 16 Lok Sabha houses that that have been in the past. So we are going to see lot of acrimony, lot of bad blood, and the kind of language that should not be used inside Parliament.
That's quite a statement there, Mr. Kidwai. Mr. Ray, do you want to come in on this? And we've just seen a smattering of that acrimony during the oath-taking ceremony, which is usually such a non-event in terms of news. It just, you know, is part of the process and the procedure. And already we've seen these clips on social media and scenes, and one side says it's heckling, the other side says we have a right to chant whatever we want. More of this to come?
Well, I wouldn't strongly disagree with that, but I'll add one caveat, and that is that no matter how rambustious a tamasha the Lok Sabha degenerates into, it may not affect the serious business of governance, because decision making, the vital decisions of the nation, have passed out of the purview of the Lok Sabha long ago. Mr. Modi's first term didn't, when he never or hardly ever spoke in Parliament, didn't elevate Parliament to the lofty pedestal that it ought to occupy. The government's main programs are announced at public rallies. The government's sort of propagation of its point of view is done at public rallies and through unofficial briefings, and that's where the governance of the country lies. The Lok Sabha will continue to provide excitement and glamour and keep alive the myth that this is the world's largest democracy. As an American senator once told me, that you have representative government, you don't have a democratic government, which is very true, but that representative government will continue to provide scenes of great excitement and exhilaration in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to some extent, but it won't affect the serious business of running the country. That will be done by the Prime Minister and his very small coterie, not even his entire party, not even his entire cabinet, outside the scrutiny of us ordinary mortals.
But the job of the opposition in Parliament is to have that scrutiny on, laws that the government brings in. And let's hope they remember that. Let's just play out for you some of, that clip of what we're talking about and what happened in Parliament today. I'll just play out those scenes for you.
जहाँ तक देखिए वंदे मातरम का ताल्लुक है, वो इट इज अगेंस्ट द इस्लाम, वी कैन नॉट फॉलो इट.
Those were some of the scenes we saw in Parliament today, and let's hope that there is work that takes place in Parliament. Slogans and chants won't mean much if our parliamentarians don't do what we have elected them to do, and they should remember that. That's their biggest responsibility. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on the show today. With that, it's a wrap on the India Development Today, a debate for today. Stay tuned to ET Now.